God.
Welcome, everybody, to Seniors. I am Jim Mazziotti, and today I have a special guest for you, and I think it's pretty timely. We're tackling a topic that most homeowners don't think about until it becomes a serious health hazard, a costly repair, or even a threat to their safety. And I think this is especially important with the recent outbreak of a hantavirus on a Dutch vessel that I think most of us heard about, a cruise vessel where three people died, and it really was looked at as part of the Andes virus, as I understand it. And this kind of virus caused by rodents, by rats, there are about, from what I understand, 20 to 40 cases a year in the United States alone. And so I think it's pretty timely that we address not a real sexy topic, to be perfectly honest, but I think it's a real important one. My guest today is David Dorfman, co-owner of Rodent Stop, a family-owned company that has helped thousands of homeowners protect their homes through rodent exclusion, attic decontamination, home sealing, and long-term prevention strategies. Working alongside of his father, David has become known for a unique approach that avoids poisons and toxic chemicals, focusing instead on identifying how rodents gain access to a home, sealing those vulnerabilities, removing a contamination, and creating long-term protection for homeowners. And what caught my attention about David's work is that this conversation isn't really just about rodents. It's about protecting your health, preserving your home, and preventing expensive repairs and creating a safer environment for you and for your families who want to age in place with confidence. Rodents can contaminate insulation, they can spread bacteria and allergens, destroy stored belongings, damage HVAC systems, and even create fire hazards by chewing on electrical wiring. Yet most of the damage occurs out of sight. It occurs in attics, crawl spaces, walls, and areas most homeowners never even inspect or even think to inspect. David has dedicated his career to helping people uncover these hidden risks before they become a major problem. For seniors, especially, maintaining a safe, healthy, and comfortable home becomes increasingly important. Whether you've lived in your home for 30 years or recently downsized into your retirement home, today's conversation could save you thousands of dollars while helping protect you from rodents. And David, are you able to see me and hear me?
Yes, I'm here, Jim.
There you are. Great, great. Well, I'm so glad to have you. And David has gone through a little bit of trouble today at his place of business. I guess they had a major water break in a pipe and leakage. And so I appreciate David spending this time with us while probably water's flowing and other problems are persisting with him. Welcome, David.
Actually, actually, it's not in my office. It's in my house.
Oh my gosh, that's even worse.
Yeah, yeah, it's in my house, and I have three kids and two on the way, and so we're gonna probably have to relocate, but
Oh, I'm so sorry to
whatever.
hear.
Yeah, we've been like there's been like these smells for a while, and I don't know. We just figured out it's probably from the solar.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
Well,
no problem.
well,
So
hope you get through it. And you said you have a couple on the way. Do you have twins on the way?
yes,
Well, congratulations. My mom,
thank you,
my mom was a twin. I've heard all the interesting stories of her childhood, and I'm sure you're going to experience them firsthand. So, congratulations to you.
thank you so
Um,
much.
so listen, you've been in this business for a long, long time, and as we talked, I deal with and work on this podcast with seniors, and in my real estate business, I work with and have worked for 44 years with all kinds of buyers and sellers, focusing on seniors at this time. But you know, most people don't think about rodents until there's a problem until they see a problem. Just recently, there was a neighbor to my son who had went up into her attic, and the attic had been completely run over by rats, and she had to bring in people to remove every all the insulation, to remove the rodents themselves, all of that, and it was about $6,000, $7,000, as I recall hearing. So I think this is hugely important. Tell us, most people think that the rodents are the problem, but it's actually it's a symptom of the problem. Tell us about your experience with rodents and how you deal with them every single day in your business.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me. Sure, I'd love to share, some great information about rodents. So a lot of people confuse rodents. You have rats, you have possums, you have mice, you have raccoons. Uh, they're all rodents, but each one, does different things and creates different damages. We actually work with rats and mice only.
Okay.
The biggest problem is rats. Mice don't really create a lot of problems. As a matter of fact, mice are the ones who um, have some kind of a connection to the hantavirus. It's called a house mouse, something about their feces. But again, if a baby's crawling on the floor and there's mouse droppings from a house mouse, then yes, that could probably be the biggest risk. Other than that, most of the stuff is in the attic, so nobody really gets there.
Okay.
Rats are the biggest issue. They're the ones who cause all the problems. About $20 billion a year in the United States from rat damages. Number one damage is them chewing on electricity wires, which cause fires. Then they chew on appliances. That's another big damage. Dishwasher a lot. So they try to get some water. They're trying to go for the water source.
Hmm.
So dishwasher hoses, laundry hoses, those are regularly damaged. Then you have your air conditioning heating air ducts that they go into and poop and urinate. And, it's going into this one room, which maybe your son might be sleeping in, and he's always sick and always going to the doctor. And, it's like nobody knows.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so that's another big damage. And then, of course, the insulation. The insulation is supposed to keep your home and attic efficient. And obviously, usually it starts at about 10 inch when you install it. And then if rodents pee on it enough, it'll go down to like a 1 inch, which is clearly not efficient.
Yes.
And that's usually when a lot of people start hearing them, when the installation's already been and less and less. So the rats, this is, again, from their damages, this is the one thing. You may ask, who has rats? Why this guy has rats and not that guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You clearly don't have 100% of homes that are infested, just 30 or 40% of them
Hmm.
in the United States, let's say.
Yeah.
Um, the number one thing that attracts rats is dogs. Okay. The dog urine and the rat urine is almost identical. Rats and dogs are very, very similar animals, and people don't really realize, but they have at least 15 similarities,
Mm-hmm.
from being born pink to getting their fur to their digestive, their scent, their brain. Very similar animals. And so the dogs pee in the yard. Some of them get walked and maybe poop outside, but most of them get pee in the yard, poop in the yard. um, Gardner picks that up every once a week.
Uh-huh.
It needs to be picked up every day, but more than that, the rats will get attracted to that for 3 to 5 mile radius,
Wow.
and they'll come there, and then they'll feed up the dog poop for a little bit, and then they're looking for the source, which is the dog food, which is usually in the pantry or the garage. Um, so I always really tell people, if you have a dog or your next door neighbor has a dog, make sure your house is sealed, because if it's not, you will have a problem if you don't already.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Um, yeah, go on.
How do you talk about sealing a house? I mean, it seems like it would be common sense, but where are the places you have found that rats are most likely to find their way into an attic?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so obviously there's a lot of different types of homes out there. And, this house may be in this area, and maybe there's regular movement, like, aftershocks, little earthquakes that you don't really feel that, opens things up. A lot of it is wear and tear, like these air vents, these metal little screens that after, 10, 20 years, you could literally just touch them. They break apart because the sun and the moisture
Uh-huh.
just really damages them. Um, but to go to your question, really, there's actually very common entry points
Hmm.
that are in homes that are pretty common. But then you have your other, like I said, depending on who built the house, how they built the house. There's a lot of different things, different wall voids, different areas, different hidden attics, different things. And
Yeah.
so we check for a lot of things. In a lot of cases, we'll do a smoke test to find all the openings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll do the smoke test, and then we'll literally see all these openings that we would never see before.
Mm.
And then of course, the regular areas that are open, is behind your AC condenser that connects to the house. That's a major one. Under the garage, the weather seal stripper goes bad. Um, Different attic vents and crawl space vents, like I mentioned, that they can just get through.
Yeah.
And this is the thing: a lot of people will seal their homes. There's three steps you have to take to get rid of a problem. A lot of people just do one or two of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't really know about the third step. But that's the thing. The first step is obviously sealing all entry points. The
Yeah.
average house will seal about 60 entry points, the size of a quarter for rats, and the size of a dime for mice and baby rats. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we seal, anything from the roof vents. We go down to the kitchen. We pull out appliances under the sink, in bathrooms, anywhere where there's water. There's usually, a pipe that hasn't been sealed around, and they could squeeze through it. Those are very common. So definitely, there's a lot of common openings. Um, and again, anything the size of a quarter, for rats, and a dime for mice and baby rats. And so it's very small areas. So we'll always seal up everything. Like that's major part of our proofing, which is sealing all entry points. And then the second step is obviously getting rid of their scent of direction. This could be either by spray, or depending on how bad the infestation is, it may just need a cleanup, like removing the insulation, like you mentioned earlier.
Uh-huh.
And this could happen in the attic, in the crawl space, in the walls, around your dishwasher, different areas, because they like to use that material for nesting,
Mm-hmm.
for temperature control, same thing. And so this is a big thing with the rats and the infestation is you have to clean up, because they don't have a bladder. They pee and poo about 50 times a day. So just do the math, how much poop and pee, it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that stuff needs to be cleaned up. Some homes are really infested, like you're talking about a good 20-year infestation. We open all the walls, we remove everything, and there's just a lot. All the kitchen cabinets are full of dropping. Everything comes out and just gets dumped.
Yeah.
Literally, like almost to just a shell.
Yeah.
They
So,
take.
at what point do people call you? What is that point, David, that you get a phone call?
So a lot of people, they'll call an exterminator who will set traps, for example,
Yeah.
or poison or whatever, and then unfortunately, as long as you're paying, you have a problem, or as long as you have a problem, you're paying, and the problem doesn't really get solved. Especially if an exterminator would set some traps, there's still dead stuff, there's still noises in the attic, there's still flies, there's still them having to come and pick it up and change the traps, and just an ongoing nonsense. You have to apply the three steps to get rid of the problem. Now, when do people call me? Usually after they dealt with an exterminator for 4, 5, 6 months and the problem just worsened. Okay. And now they don't want to do traps anymore. They want a real solution. And so they call us, and, we go out there. We usually do an inspection, photos, everything, full report. Because technically, through the pest control board, you have to be licensed to even perform an inspection.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
all my guys are licensed. We go, we check everything out, we do a full report, and then we'll provide, a price, whether it's through insurance or out of pocket, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's usually when we'll get the call, and then, like I said, a lot of stuff in the attic, people never go up to the attic,
Yeah.
barely the crawl space either,
Yes.
unless you have a nice, uh, basement, which is different. But most people have crawl spaces, and nobody's going under there. Nobody's going up to to the attic
Uh-huh.
except for the rats.
Yeah, well, that would be me. I mean, the only time we would go up there, barely stick our head into the attic, is to get Christmas decorations or something, right? I mean, we don't go up there. So what is the first sign that you've got a problem? Is it smell? Is it other than noise? The smell? What's the first indication that, man, you got a problem?
So obviously, your dogs are actually your first line of defense. If you see them, smelling a wall or scratching a wall or
Okay.
the floor, that's a good indication. One.
Okay. All right.
Second one, obviously, is rat droppings in the kitchen counter or anywhere you find.
Mm-hmm.
Three, if you have a dog. Excuse me, I should probably go to number one being if you have a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
One.
Okay.
But yeah, the dog is the one thing, and then going into you know um, just a lot of different, um, like I said, noises, activity, the smell. Usually, only if you have something dead, you will smell it. If
Okay.
you smell urine, that's sometimes if you have recess lighting that may come through it. But going up to the attic is a good indication. But the simplest is obviously, if you have a dog, that's a good indication. If you see openings around your property, that's another good indication. But noises in the walls, in the ceiling, and droppings, obviously, is the most common visual ones.
Yeah, yeah. And so, help me here, because help me understand the differentiation between rats and mice. What is the real differentiation between the two?
I mean, mice are, first of all, rats are much stronger.
Hmm.
They can swim. They have much better scent. They can climb. They can chew on anything.
Uh huh.
Their teeth grow very quickly, like nails. They could chew on metal, plastic, concrete, wood. And that's something that they will do also. They will chew through stuff. If you just do one of the steps that I was mentioning,
Uh huh.
like if you just seal the openings and you have a bunch of droppings and stuff, they'll chew on all the work that you did to get back in there.
Yeah.
And so you got to get rid of that stuff to lower their aggression. You lower their aggression, they won't get in. They won't find their way back. So getting rid of their scent is number one. My dad, who's my partner, he actually invented this spray about 20 years ago. It's totally organic.
Hmm.
It's not to kill them, it's to get rid of their scent. It's to kill their scent.
And once you kill their scent, you'll get rid of them, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Because think about it, even if you catch a bunch of rats, why are you getting more rats? Why?
Uh
Because
huh.
something is attracting them,
Wow.
right?
And so your father invented a non-toxic method in order to get rid of them that's safe for household pets, for cats, I presume, and so forth. And
Yeah, of
so
course.
so he invented this. Now listen, my podcast originates from Dallas, Texas, and I know you're in California. You have a number of different outlets in Van Nuys, California, in that area. So is that solution is that available to people here in Texas? Because I doubt that you can jump in a car and check on my house today.
That's a really good point, because we always, people really love our treatments. And, we've been around for a long time. We have a lot of reviews, and people call us from all over the state, all
Uh huh.
over the United States. And we're like, we're sorry.
Yeah.
We can't help you, but we'll give them tips and stuff. But yes, to answer your question, we cannot jump into a car. But me and my dad did invent this home defense kit for rats and mice, which we just recently made it public. So you can go on Shopify, you can go and get it. It's called the home defense kit for rats and mice, and it's basically our treatment in a box. It includes a bunch of different sealing materials to seal different openings, and all no tools necessary, just made it really makes it really easy for homeowners to use. And then we have the scent eliminator, which is these spheres that you could just toss into the attic or the crawl space, which basically will kill their scent.
Uh-huh.
And then there's some traps that we provide, which are pre-baited. There's gloves that we provide also. They're scent gloves, so you don't get the scent on them, and then the rats will actually go to them. So the gloves are there. The pre-baited traps are there. Um, Disposable bags to put whatever you caught into a bag and in the trash, so there's no flies and no bad smell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a special rodent activity detection light that's included that you can look and see different activity. And most importantly, there's a map that shows all the different openings that are pretty common. And then just a full direction on how to seal what, where to seal what. It's very easy.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
because there's so many different homes and types, we kind of try to address it all
yeah.
in one situation.
So, my listeners, my viewers can go to Amazon, I'm guessing, and they can look up home defense kit. Is that
No, we actually are not on Amazon.
okay?
Not yet. We
Okay.
we're on Shopify. We're in
Shopify.
Google. Yeah, we're on Shopify and I think TikTok. But yeah,
Okay.
we're in the process of getting into Amazon, but we just we're doing good. We're doing good at Shopify and different types of ventures through that because again, it's a great solution. It works,
Uh-huh.
easy to do, especially nowadays. Everybody wants to do it yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's a really big market, and it's really a great treatment for rats and mice.
Yeah.
You
See,
know,
and the whole thought, and maybe it's just me, the whole thought of having rats in my house is almost beyond. Um, I can't even believe I might have the possibility of having rats. I can't think of anything worse. I mean, we've all dealt with mice. They get in the garage, they get in here, they get in
right?
there. But rats, I can't even imagine it. So, the home defense kit that's available on TikTok and Spotify, is that preventative? Tell me about the kit, just so I understand. So I'm
Yeah, it's preventative. If you don't have a problem yet, and you see some openings, and yeah, you could close them, and definitely not have to deal with the problem.
okay.
If you or your next door neighbor has a dog, that's actually a good indication. Hey, I should make sure that my house is sealed so I don't have a problem in the near
Absolutely.
future. But overall, the kit is made for anybody,
Mm-hmm.
really, and it's really easy to use. If you have a problem, usually, so this thing, in order to like, if you have a problem, I would say between 2 and 5 months, I would recommend it. But if you have a problem for longer than that, you need to clean up. There's a lot of installation to remove. That the reason I mentioned this timeline is because this is where it's still just simple odor control, sealing openings before they start infesting things
Okay.
that will have to be removed.
Yeah. So one of my questions that I was going to ask you is for those homeowners that say, I only have enough money to do one thing to protect my home. What would be the first thing that the best thing somebody could do? I'm guessing it's seal up the holes, right?
Yeah, I would say seal up the holes is definitely number one. But again, you see, that's why the three steps are so important and so vital, to each other. Because look, think about it. You close the holes tomorrow. Now you might leave something in there, so that thing can't even get out. So it's gonna be there making damages. You
Yeah.
have to trap whatever's left behind. I'm not talking about ongoing trapping. That's what you would happen if you didn't seal the holes.
Yeah.
But once you seal the holes, that's one thing. Another thing, again, very important is get rid of their scent. You got to get rid of their scent of
Okay.
direction. It's very important because, like
Yeah.
I said, if you don't, they're just going to chew on your proofing, on everything you sealed.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Our treatment every single day. We do these treatments, and they're all done the same way. And we literally have one treatment, and so it's all done the same way. So every day, every house, we seal the homes, we clean up, we get rid of their scent, we spray for disease, viruses, rat mites, most importantly, pheromones.
Mm.
And then we'll set some traps, which we inspect every 4 to 7 days. And after that, that's it. It's done. We have a lifetime warranty.
And so you also have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
You have an excellent YouTube channel that people can go to, and when I looked at it, I think it does three things that I saw. There's consumer education, there's myth busting, where you get rid of all the myths that go along with it, and there's real transparency in helping people address these problems. So
Yeah.
listen, we aren't in California, or some of my listeners probably are, and viewers, but here in Dallas, we aren't right next door to you. So I think, the home defense kit is something that's very important that I want my senior audience to know about. And your website, I think, is hugely important for me to make sure I get out there for people to be aware of, because this is no joke, you know.
It's not. It's not. I'm so sorry, Jim. Can I put you on hold for 1 second?
Yes, you can.
I'm
Go
really
ahead.
sorry. Somebody's at my door. Let me
Go
just
ahead. Grab them.
1 second. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. And so, in talking here with David, I think we're learning a lot about problems with rodents. And as I said, it really is no joke. And as I said to David, I can't even imagine having rats. I can't imagine anything much worse in my house and near my family and near my food. Um, and there's some embarrassment with it. I presume. I'm going to ask when David is available, when he comes back, how he deals, or how he suggests to his clients to deal with the embarrassment that goes along with this, because it definitely is something that none of us can imagine that we would have in our homes. And so I'm hoping that listening to this, you're going to get a pretty good sense of how you can at least prevent, not eradicate necessarily, but prevent rats and even mice from getting in your house. I think that's hugely important, and I think that's something we're learning today with David, and he's helped us out a great deal to learn that. When he gets back, we'll ask him about how people deal with the embarrassment of it. And, the deeper story to all this is really about, your home health, staying healthy in your home, aging in place. Many of our listeners live in older homes that maybe haven't been checked for openings and cracks and places where rodents can get in. And there are so many hidden dangers in the home, and prevention versus reaction. David, I have one last question I want to ask, and it deals with embarrassment. Because I know I would be terribly embarrassed to think that, of all people, I would ever have rodents and rats in my house. And how do people deal with it? Do you find there's some people too embarrassed to even call you, and so they wait on it and they wait on it and they try to do it themselves? Talk about that.
That's actually really funny because we have a lot of people who call us and say, "Do you guys have unmarked vans?"
Oh,
All the
gotcha.
time. They don't want their neighbors to know, and this is so funny because this is one of the reasons why we haven't wrapped our vehicles, because we get so many calls that people are like, "Hey, can you, do that? Can you come with unmarked cars?" And so we have to.
I
It's like crazy, but that's definitely the issue. Yeah, a lot of people ask us for that. It's funny you say that. So
yeah.
yes, they are embarrassed, but there's nothing to be embarrassed of. I mean, there's rats, there's termites, there's a bunch of pests. There's nothing anybody could do about it except call for help.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you are a fantastic resource, and I'm so glad I had the opportunity to hear about you and to be able to talk to you. I think you've added a lot of value to my people, to the people on my Senior to Seniors podcast. I will be sure, David, to get this out to as many people as I possibly can so they can protect themselves and not have to worry about the disease and all the problems that are caused. And David, I just want to thank you so much for being here today, and I hope I see you again. Thank you to my audience, and thank you to David. Everybody have a great day.